What's up, everyone? Welcome to the second podcast of KBJ. I'm Brandon. Jordan's to my right. Case is currently behind the camera. He's bought a personal jersey, waiting for it to get opened. I get this excitement, so Case will be joining us momentarily.
I can still talk back here.
Yeah, you can still hear Case. He'll be on the screen in just a few minutes, I promise. He's got other excitement going on. His first jersey pull. We'll see who he gets. We'll announce on the stream when he gets there. Start off hot today. Situation in Denver. Crazy subject right now, but a very hot subject right now. Collier, what are you feeling on it?
I'm pretty disappointed in how Denver's handling this whole situation. I know the money you put into Russell Wilson hasn't exactly panned out the way they had planned. They planned on him being his MVP rush, the one that was possibly an MVP back in Seattle. But telling a guy you're going to bench him when you're in playoff contention, you're going to bench him over him not wanting to negotiate his contract that you gave him. You both signed it. It's kind of like he claimed it was you either sign your $27 million to get it later, or we're going to bench you. And then soon after, Russell Wilson's benched. So I do believe Denver's handling it the wrong way. I don't know if Sean Payton's involved. I don't know who in the organization's involved, but I think it's dirty what they're doing to him, even if he hasn't been playing as well as his contract says he should.
I agree 100%. Yeah. Everybody knows I'm a big Russ hater. I'm always going to be a big Russ hater. I never liked Russell Wilson. I never will like Russell Wilson. But the man's been done wrong. I don't think that it should go down like this. Regardless of my personal feelings towards the guy, he's been done wrong. This ain't how it should go down. So,
beat Kansas City for the first time since 2015. I mean, you had good – you could still make the playoffs depending on a couple chips fall your way. I just think it's crazy to throw in a quarterback you know is not going to get it done. Russell Wilson's your best chance. You're wasting your defense's talent because that is one of the better defenses in the NFL. So we'll see how it goes, but it's disgusting what they're doing over there in Denver.
Case, you want to get in on this one?
I think Russell's just a prima donna. It's been said by Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch when he was at Seattle, how big of a issue he was just trying to get a hold of him.
That's correct.
Yes, he had to go through his agent just to talk to him, and that's just not something you should do. So far this year, I don't think he's been up to par with what he's being paid for. He's thrown under 250 yards a game, 12 out of the 16 games he's played. Me personally, I think he should take a pay cut so he can get better players. I mean, he's thrown to the peanut team here in fucking Big Stone. But on the other hand, if you're
as a 32-year-old vet,
he's 32. I mean,
how much longer can you give away money? Exactly. Same one thing with Patty Mahomes. I mean, everybody says it's his contract. The reason they can't get anybody with hands out there. I mean, you gave him the contract. He didn't force their hand. He didn't hold Denver at gunpoint and tell them give him a bunch of money. So,
I agree 100%.
I mean, when your number one option is Jerry Jeudy, you're not going to get much done passing-wise. You seen what he could do with Tyler Lockett and them boys down there. When you got a running game that's working, Javonte, I mean, he still ain't looking like early Javonte before the injury. So I don't think the whole blame's on Russell, but they are wasting that defense's talent which they did give up 70 points. So,
correct.
But they have picked it up. They're holding teams. Something's got to happen. You got to
pull your jersey.
No, I think this just proves that Drew Brees made Sean Payton.
Drew Brees was a great quarterback.
Granted, they only won one Super Bowl though. We'll move on into the UNC West Virginia game. You was there live. You've seen it. Carly, our social media manager, in the chat. Carly, give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. We can see we can see the chat screen. We've got it pulled up. Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Collier, hit us with the West Virginia game.
So it was electric. I called it before the game started. We sat down. I looked at Carly. I said, we're taking this kick back. They kicked it out of the back of the end zone, but next play, 75-yard bomb. Garrett Green absolutely threw a beautiful pass. Started off hot, kind of fell off from there. Beanie Wilson got us fired up again, taking a kick back, taking a punt back 75 yards. I know you could say North Carolina didn't have Drake May. That is a big hit for them, but that freshman they had, he wasn't no joke. He threw a 60-yard dime right in the breadbasket. They ended up throwing a pick later on, which wasn't his fault. It was tipped by his receiver, picked off in the back of the end zone. So game went well. West Virginia played great. There's going to be some studs. Clement, watch for that name. He's a freshman. He was absolutely one-on-one coverage, no shot, saucing them up. So, I mean, there was a bunch of freshmen that played for West Virginia. We didn't have our number one running back, who I said would turn someone's franchise around running game-wise, and C.J. Donaldson, he was out with a shoulder injury, or that's what they claim. But absolutely electric game. There was more West Virginia fans in North Carolina than there were North Carolina fans. So
I agree. West Virginia, man. No, Collier wasn't a big Neil Brown hater. He's kind of jumped on the bandwagon here recently.
He has turned it around.
Neil Brown and Mac Brown, two great head coaches. North Carolina's headed in the right direction. I know they're in the ACC. They're in the right direction. West Virginia's in the right direction. You got a lot of teams joining the Big 12 next year.
Got some teams leaving.
You got some teams joining the ACC next year.
We won't have to get beat to death by Oklahoma no more.
Your Power 5 conferences are about to get a little more powerful with the Pac-12 disappearing. You know, they're pretty much going to be non-existent.
Colorado, who is right now losing every 5-star they had.
We're going into that here in a minute. Case's jersey pull is going on. So as soon as Case's jersey pulls over, we'll get back into this. Take the next 20, 30 seconds, kind of go over everything. Carly, if you can move your head right quick. We've got our YouTube link on the top, Instagram. This is the Whatnot app. It's kind of where you can buy and sell sports memorabilia. We're going to be doing it for now. Should be live on it tomorrow night. We'll be doing some jerseys, like football cards and stuff like that. Doing some breaks, sort of, things like that. We will continue to that on Instagram once we get the followers needed in order to do that. I'm sorry, not Instagram, TikTok. Once we get the followers, I think it's 2,500 live streams. So if y'all want to see that, if y'all want some breaks here locally in Southwest Virginia, even if you're not local, if you want to see some breaks coming in, follow us on the TikTok. That's the biggest one that we need right now. Once we get to that, we can do all that. We will be doing a giveaway at 300 subscribers on YouTube. It's going to be just sort of a random jersey in a box. Comes to your house. You could get a rookie. You could get a Hall of Famer. You could really get anybody.
Might pull it on stream.
Andre Rison.
Who's up for trade on it? Ask him who's trade. Say who's up for trade. Sorry, I was talking to Case.
Andre Rison's a Hall of Famer.
I know, but you never know who's on trade.
It was two nobodies.
I pulled a Calvin Johnson out of it. I got a Ray Lewis out of it. You can pull some pretty decent players. So stick around for 300 subs. Make sure your YouTube profile is on public. If it is not on public, we can't see who you are. We'll only be able to choose from the people that are on public. So make sure that it is on public so that we can see you. All right. Case, you going to be joining in now or keep moving without you? All right. Go fuck myself. Cool. I'll do that. All right. We'll skip into the college football championship winner. Who do we think is going to win college football championship?
I think it's going to be the rematch. I think Texas is going to beat Washington hands down. I think they just got the pieces. They look like a national championship team. And I think Alabama's going to steamroll Michigan. I don't think Michigan's going to get it done. Harbaugh's been off for 3 games. They got so much adversity around them right now. I think they didn't look too hot against Ohio State, who I think is a terrible football team with Kyle McCord playing quarterback. Really, their only saving grace is Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think it's going to be Texas, Bama. Bama is hotter, but I think Texas gets it done. Quinn Ewers, steamrolls Alabama and wins the national championship.
I can agree. I see Texas and Bama in the rematch. I can also see a little bit of Texas and Michigan. I know Michigan's one of those teams that blow it every fucking year. But Michigan's got a good defense. I think they got a chance. Regardless of the outcome, I think Texas wins all. Texas is stout this year. Texas is going to be a tough team to beat. Even in the SEC, they're going to be a tough team to beat. I think Texas takes it. Case?
So I'm going to get Alabama over Michigan, then Texas over Washington. Sorry. Then I'm going to say horns down. Bama, they've just been on too much of a hot streak. Beating Georgia, who should probably be in this as well. But yeah, I'm gonna say Alabama. Roll Tide.
Yes, Case is going with the Eric Church look tonight. He is a big Eric Church fan. I don't know if that's true or not. I was just throwing bullshit out there. Skipping to the Tennessee and Iowa predictions.
Nico. Tennessee gets it done.
I think Tennessee is headed in the right direction with Nico, Iamaloba, however the fuck you say his last name. It don't matter how you say his last name. Boy is a stud. He's going to get shit done in Knoxville. Tennessee's going to make the comeback with him at quarterback.
It's going to be a whole different story than Milton.
35-21. This boy is a better Hendon hooker. Sorry if you can hear the dogs in the background. They don't ever shut up. Case?
I'm going to go with Tennessee. Nico should have been starting after the game that we went to, Austin,
yes.
When they played Austin Peay.
Austin Peay.
Even Texas A&M.
Yeah, dude, we sat there and watched them play. We sat there and watched them beat fucking Austin Peay 30-12. Okay, our high school team could beat Austin Peay 30-12.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah, give me Tennessee.
I do think Iowa's defense has some potential to beat them.
Yes.
I mean, it's freshman quarterback, so you can watch. Iowa's got a top 5 defense. Offensively, I don't know if they get the ball moving, get the ball rolling against Tennessee, but I'm still going Tennessee.
Move on to Flacco's performance last night. What we thinking about the Browns, man? They're on a hot streak.
Flacco magic. He started off on a tear. Their defense was all lights out. I mean, the Jets, I know it's the Jets. They're not the best in the world. They were playing with Simeon at quarterback. So, Saleh needs to start looking for a new job, in my opinion. But, yeah, Flacco looks like he could actually take Cleveland somewhere deep in the playoffs.
I agree. I think, Flacco led us, huge Ravens fan, been a Ravens fan all my life. I think, Flacco led us to the Super Bowl. I don't think he got done dirty because Lamar came in, fresh legs. I get it. He's won MVP. He's proven he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. So I understand it was Flacco's time to go. I'm glad to see Flacco shine in any game besides us. That's all. He's playing the Ravens. I fucking hate him. Other than that, he's a legend in Baltimore. I think the Browns truly have a good push in the playoffs.
The only thing about Flacco is his turnovers.
Yes.
He has thrown about 3 picks in every game.
Yeah,
that changed against the Jets. That one pick wasn't even his fault.
But it's still, at the end of the day, it's going against his record or his stats. Sorry, but I agree with y'all. I can definitely see them making a deep playoff run. If not, maybe the Super Bowl. Lamar is due that yearly injury, so I could probably see that happening and fucking up the Ravens' chances at everything. They also cannot make it past the divisional, so I don't know. We'll see.
But can you see the Browns being in the Super Bowl?
I can. With that defense?
That defense is rock solid.
But they also play the Jets, so. But
they're 11-5 now after beating the Jets. And Flacco, the interceptions came down against the Jets defense. It's played well this year. He picked off Patrick Mahomes 3 times. Turned the ball. The Bills turned over the ball a bunch of times against them. So I think that was without Amari Cooper. You have Amari Cooper, that game could be 40-something in the first half.
I agree.
All
right, we'll go into college football. We're trying to cover a lot of topics today, try to mix up the sports. And I'm saying, I ain't big NFL fans, whatever. So we'll flip back into college. Dabo Swinney, He beat Kentucky today, but he started off, number 1 team in the country all those years, super hot, bumped down to number 7 last year, played Tennessee in the Orange Bowl, got the shit beat out of him against Joe Milton, out of all people. This year he dropped even farther. He's out of the top 10 altogether. Do we think Dabo still has that, level of coaching that everybody says he does? Do we think Dabo's going to take the Alabama spot when Saban retires? It's like all the rumors are saying. What do you feel?
I think he is counting his days until Nick Saban retires, and I also think Nick Saban's counting his days until he retires. I think he takes it. I think Dabo is still a great college coach. He's one of the only ones to beat this new age SEC multiple times, and one of the best SEC teams in the history of the SEC in Bama. So I think with the way he recruits, now for Alabama, it would be a huge change going from more of a defensive-minded head coach to a highly offensive-minded head coach coming out of the ACC. But I do think Sweeney could come to Alabama and they'd stay right on track. You would lose a couple of recruits because, Nick Saban is Alabama at this point. You think Alabama, you don't think Trent Richardson, you think Nick Saban.
Right.
I think Dabo is counting his days, though, until Nick Saban retires.
I agree. The only person that I could see replacing Saban is Kirby Smart, and he's
not leaving Georgia.
No, he's not leaving Georgia. So I could definitely see Dabo going to Alabama after Saban retires, and he'll be just as good as he has been at Clemson. You haven't seen him in the last couple of years, but still he's in the ACC. Everybody's going to SEC nowadays because they're ring chasing.
Real fast, another college coach we could talk about possibly leaving for the NFL, and Harbaugh. You think last year when Carolina was opening up their head coaching spot, Harbaugh reached out to him. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, they're doing well this year. Do you think he will still maybe be open to coaching for Carolina? Because Carolina needs a new head coach. I think Harbaugh is one of the better options.
Absolutely. He's proved he can make a Super Bowl.
You think he wants to go back and coach against his brother? Or?
Here's the thing. My boy Trent Blockay in Jacksonville, great guy, by the way. He's a big Harbaugh fan. He hired Harbaugh once. I wouldn't be surprised to see Doug Peterson leave Jacksonville and Jim Harbaugh make his way in. Trent likes who he likes. He obviously likes Harbaugh. I wouldn't be surprised when Trent left the 49ers, Harbaugh left the 49ers.
I also seen this might be true, it might not be, but I seen where Michigan already offered him a contract, 10 year, $125 million, and
that is true.
And he can't coach for a year in the NFL after that. Yeah. That is one.
And he has not accepted it.
Nope,
that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
I think he is looking to come back to the NFL.
Right.
Yeah, I can see it.
So we'll move on,
especially with the scandal.
Yeah.
Especially with the scandal.
That'll probably be what pushes him.
What drives him out of college football.
We'll go into the Cowboys and Lions predictions for tomorrow night. How are we feeling on that?
I think this is where the Cowboys start their downfall. I'm repping the boy James Mitchell, playing more. He needs to be playing a little bit more for Detroit. I think Detroit comes out, Jared Goff has himself a game, and the Cowboys start their downfall now. I'm calling Dak at least 2 picks.
I agree 100%. I think, Goff has proven he is a top 10 QB in the league. Goff is consecutive. I'm a big Goff fan, man. I think he got done dirty at the Rams. Everybody said, he's only doing good at the Rams. He had Van Jefferson, Cooper Kupp, all this. He goes to the Lions, he's doing just good. I know he has Amari St. Brown. I know he has Sam Laporta. He's got a secret weapon in James Mitchell. The boy needs to be starting more. Give the boy a chance. I think the Lions is probably the best year they've ever had in their history. I think this is their chance to truly make their playoff push that could lead to a Super Bowl contender.
And the only issue I have with that is it's a stacked NFC.
It is a very stacked NFC. I could maybe divisional, but I don't see them going to the conference championship game. But I do like what Dan Campbell has done in Detroit.
Turned it around.
In 2 years. It's absolutely ridiculous what he's done.
atmosphere around Detroit Lions is still strong.
You can't help but love Dan Campbell.
I do wish he'd start Jahmyr Gibbs a little more.
I do too, because he's a ton better than David Montgomery. I don't know.
So we'll move on back into college football. And we're going to touch all the subjects today. Did Florida State get robbed?
100%. I think, personally, the committee should have sat down, because keeping Florida State out of the playoffs shines a bad light on college football for the future. I think it should at least been an emergency 16 playoff at Georgia, because Georgia's undefeated 2 years in a row. Come out and their only loss is to one of the hottest teams in college football coming down the stretch. I think 16 playoff, let Florida State get in there. They probably get the brakes beat off of them by any of the teams in there. But you can't exclude a Power 5 undefeated team. This isn't UCF. This isn't fake national champions. You put them in there, you add Georgia, make a 16 playoff. It's going to an 18 playoff. Might as well. It would have drummed up so much people to watch the playoffs after a dreadful national championship last year. But, yeah, I think you, at the most, you make a 16 playoff. Because, you can't kick out Bama beating Georgia. You can't kick out Texas at that point because they beat Alabama. And you can't kick out two undefeated, one of them with a Heisman winner. So, yeah,
I agree.
16 playoff.
Think they got robbed, but at the same time, who do you replace in the top four to put Florida State in?
Nobody.
Exactly.
The only one you could replace is Alabama, and how you do that.
Exactly. So I think, Florida State deserved it. I'm with Collier. Luckily, next year we don't have to deal with none of this BS. We won't have a who should have been the top four. We're switching it up. Thank God. Should have been like this all along. It really should be a 12-team all along, and I know that's where we're pushing to. It'll be there eventually. That's where it should have been all along.
I'm going to go ahead and completely disagree with both of y'all. The top four right now would absolutely steamroll them. They're playing with a third-string quarterback. I know, but you can even say Georgia will absolutely steamroll.
Well, we get to see it.
Well, that's actually the next subject.
Yeah, and we're going to see them steamroll, and it'll be proven that Florida State did not belong to be in that top four.
Give us a score prediction for the Georgia-Florida State game.
I said this last year when I said TCU had a chance to beat Georgia. They picked the worst day to play like they'd never played football before, because TCU deserved to be there. They steamrolled Michigan, made it to the national championship, and unfortunately they did get beat to death. But Florida State is a good football team, other than their quarterback. Football's not all about a quarterback. I know it's a huge part of it, but there's been plenty of teams win national championships with second, third-string quarterbacks. Ohio State's done it. They was rotating three at one time because everybody kept getting hurt. You learned about Cardero. You learned about Braxton. So don't count them out yet. They won. They beat Louisville. I know that's not a huge win. They're not a very strong conference in the ACC, but I'm going to take Georgia. They're probably going to beat them by double digits. 3-touchdown game at least. But don't count out Florida State's defense, because it can be done. Georgia's definitely not as good this year as they've been in the past. So I'm going to call it at least a 3-touchdown game, and Georgia takes the W.
I think Georgia at least 14. I'm going to say Georgia 28-14.
I'm going to say Georgia 31-10.
All right. Case is expecting the landslide here.
Yep.
We'll move on. We'll flip it up. We'll start with Case this time. Mike Vrabel for the Titans. The Titans started off hot, made a couple playoff games. They went downhill from there. Is Mike Vrabel on the hot seat in Tennessee?
You could probably say that Vrabel and the GM for the Titans are both on the hot seat because of what he done with A.J. Brown. He should have been fired.
That was dirty.
He should have been fired the day after he done that. They got a bag of chips for fucking AJ Brown, which has become one of the best, if not top 5, top 10 wide receivers in the league. And I think he was before.
Very dirty.
Traylon Burks. You traded AJ Brown for Traylon Burks.
Yeah.
Granted, they got my boy D Hop, big D Hop fan, but
AJ Brown's a little younger than
D Hop's getting older. He's still a great receiver, but AJ Brown was your prime target. He was hitting his prime. That was your receiver for the next 10 years.
Carrying Titans, really, other than D. Henry.
D. Henry's 30 years old now.
He's 30, bruiser running back.
Prince
He's not going to carry you no more.
He is now
I'm
Prince
going to grab another
Henry.
beer. You need one?
Yeah. I think at the most, you fire Vrabel. Vrabel's got to go. There's no way you keep him around. He's obviously not getting it done. There's no way you trade Brown for what they traded Brown for. I mean, I know Traylon Burks was supposed to be a great receiver, but, I mean, A.J. Brown was already solidified in Tennessee, so he's got to go. Vrabel's on the hot seat. Honestly surprised he's not fired yet. Putting too much faith in Derrick Henry, who's a 30-year-old bruiser. So, Vrabel gone, and who replaces him, though?
Could be a Jim Harbaugh situation.
Harbaugh, I mean, I could see him going to the NFL, but I'm going to call Carolina.
We never know until we get there. That's for sure. Oh, there's your blanket. All right. We're going to say Penn State and Ole Miss game. We got it tomorrow. I think most of the day tomorrow we've pretty much already agreed. We're going to be watching a lot of these games. I mean, I don't have nothing on tomorrow. I don't think Case has anything on tomorrow. So we're going to try to keep up with these games, get accurate information to give you. On that note, I forgot to mention earlier, tomorrow night we will be doing a Jeopardy night, kind of like a sports trivia Jeopardy. We'll be doing that. We might go over a little bit tomorrow night as of the scores. We'll probably be live streaming right around the time that the Lions and Dallas game is on.
It'll probably be on this TV right here.
Yeah, we will be playing it. So, it'll be a good night. I think we'll have a good day tomorrow. Give me, personally, I'm a big, I like Penn State a lot, man. Other than Tennessee, it's one of my favorite programs. I'm going to take Penn State over Ole Miss. Fuck Lane Kiffin. Pardon the language. Fuck Lane Kiffin. Double time. I could say it 20 more times and it'd still be the same. Give me Penn State 31-17.
So, West Virginia fan, obviously we started the season off Penn State. Drew Allar is not the answer for Penn State. I do not think he gets it done against a tough SEC opponent. Ole Miss blows them out of the water. Penn State couldn't stop nobody. West Virginia put up points on them, and we were not looking good to start off the season. I think Ole Miss beats them 45-10.
Damn.
That's
brave.
Penn State's always going to beat Penn State to death. Drew Allar is terrible. I know he's young, but Penn State gets steamrolled.
I think this will be a closer game. I'm gonna say 28-31 Penn State.
Nice. I like it. I love all the Penn State love.
So Penn State love, and it's not gonna happen. Ole Miss wins.
We're going to flip up into our one and only NBA topic tonight. I'm trying to cover all sports. I'm not a big NBA watcher. You'll probably never hear me speak on the NHL, UFC every now and then, maybe MLB a little bit. Hell, we might even venture into golf when season comes.
I know, some golf.
Yeah,
I can get it behind.
So we'll start with the one and only. How long do the Pistons lose for? They're on one of the worst losing streaks of all time. Do we think it continues? If I was Cade Cunningham,
Run.
I'd be buying a one-way fucking ticket out of Detroit
Anywhere.
and just waiting for my contract to be up. Set it out.
That might be the biggest dumpster fire I've ever seen in sports.
That is
and that's including the Browns with their 0-win season. That's including the Lions with their 0-win season.
Cade Cunningham is good, man.
Cade Cunningham could score 100 and they'd lose. I mean, he scores 40 often. They are terrible. Coaching's terrible. Their defense is terrible. I can't name another player on that team besides Cade
Oh, dude,
Cunningham.
if you've looked, man, it's like these guys are like damn near in a wheelchair.
They're terrible. And if I'm Cade Cunningham, I am getting out. And with the way the NBA is nowadays, you make one call and you're shipped off somewhere. I mean, it's pick and choose where you want to go now. So Cade Cunningham run. Detroit, I'm surprised if they win 10 games.
Detroit has had this issue for the last 10 years?
Longer now.
Longer than that.
They had a couple good years in between.
Yeah, when they had old
Bad boy Pistons.
Balake Griffin.
Yeah.
Even then they wasn't good. They had
Hey,
good
Seth, what's up, bro?
Pistons.
Seth's in here. Brother-in-law for you. We'll start with UFC a little bit tonight too. Mix into that. Leon Edwards, Kobe Covington. I was here watching it live. He was here watching it live, and he was here watching it live. I'm a big Kobe Covington fan. Some of the shit he said about Leon, it's kind of messed up. You don't talk about a man's dead dad. I don't give a shit. The situation, that ain't right. Leave that out of the conversation. I like Kobe Covington, but that wasn't right. He knows it wasn't right. But he fought scared. You're never going to be Leon Edwards fighting scared. He's too good.
My biggest problem isn't his trash talk. I mean, we've seen Conor McGregor say some crazy stuff. It's a competition. It's a fight. I don't believe you bring in someone's dead dad.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's disrespectful. But if you're going to talk that and come out and look like I've never seen Kobe Covington fight a worse fight.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fought some way better opponents than Leon Edwards. And he came out in that fight and let Leon Edwards stand 6 feet back where he wanted to be, kick the daylights out of his leg, and he was finished by the second round.
And the fact that Leon was so respectful to him after the fight, there's a wonder Leon wasn't over trying to choke him out to his death.
It says how Leon is as a man.
Yeah. I gained a lot of respect for Leon Edwards that night that I didn't have before.
If you're Kobe Covington, I don't know how you come out and fight like that. I mean, he looked like Adesanya coming out and fighting. He did not look like the Kobe Covington we've seen. Had he fought like Kobe Covington that we've seen, the fight could have turned a different direction because when he started pressuring Leon, he had him on the ground. He had him in submissions. Leon just overpowered him. But, I mean, you do that from round 1 to 5 because you could tell Kobe Covington wasn't tired. I mean, the dude's a long-distance fighter. I think it's a bad look all around for Covington. And if he don't retire, I'll be surprised.
Go back into the NFL a little bit. We're going to talk on the situation in Jacksonville. Everybody knows how, I'm big on Jacksonville. Trent Blockade, general manager, great guy. Had some personal interactions with him. Case as well has personal interactions with him. Great dude. I like what he's doing with the program. The situation, they've lost 4 in a row. Do we think Trevor Lawrence, there's been speculation saying that if Trevor Lawrence wasn't a once-in-a-generation athlete in college, he still wouldn't be starting NFL. Do you see any truth in that?
Trevor Lawrence is top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. To this day, I mean, when you really look at his weapons that he has, other than ETN, there's not much to go on there. Christian Kirk is good, and Calvin Ridley.
Evan Ingram?
Has Calvin Ridley looked like Atlanta Falcons Calvin Ridley?
No.
Another fact on that is how much has Calvin Ridley played this season?
Yeah, you know why, though, right? He keeps taking the spread on Jacksonville to win.
I'm just saying, Christian Kirk has done a lot for that team, and Christian Kirk is not a good receiver. Don't care what you say. Trevor Lawrence has made him look better than he is.
I like ETN a lot.
Other than ETN, that's their only real threat.
They need a little help on
Evan Ingram's
good.
Evan Ingram's good.
They also need help on the offensive line.
Yes.
Yeah, their offensive line's terrible. Lawrence, I mean, he did make plays with his legs in college, but in the NFL, it's just not the same.
Nope.
But in my opinion, Christian Kirk should not be their number 1 receiver, and he is.
So, Case, we'll start with you on this one. Do we think the Texans, they're right there on the border. They could be eliminated this week. They could win this week, and they could still be in playoffs. Another playing without Stroud. Stroud's a great freaking player. Do we think that the Texans still make playoffs?
I can see them making the playoffs, but I think it'll be a first-round exit.
Davis Mills, is that who they're going with?
Yes. Yeah. I see it being a first-round exit. Come back next year stronger than ever. And just waltz the wall.
I agree. I think C.J. Stroud has that team headed in the right direction. Stroud's one of those guys that he comes out of a college. Every year they produce a quarterback, and every year they bust. C.J. Stroud said, hold my beer and check out the shit I can do. He's came out this year. He's played phenomenal. I never thought that he would accomplish as much as he's accomplished, but
Called it day one.
he has proven himself.
Who was drafted before him?
Bryce Young, and I called it. Anyone that knows me, I stood on the hill and said C.J. Stroud should be picked. As soon as we traded for the first pick, I knew they were going to take Bryce Young. Everybody said they should take Bryce Young. And I'm not saying that C.J. Stroud would look as good as he does in Carolina, because I don't think Tom Brady in his prime could look good in Carolina. But there's no way you take a Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud. I don't care what his Wonderlic test score said. He looked great at Ohio State. He looks great at the Texans. And Bryce Young, 5'8", 180. Y'all know where I stand. C.J. Stroud, number one pick unanimously.
We'll go back to one that we missed earlier. Who do we think is going to win the NFL MVP? I know. It's a quarterback award. Regardless of how good a running back does, Derrick Henry's already proved that shit don't matter. Who do we think wins MVP?
CMC should win MVP. Die on that hill any day. But we all know it's going to be Lamar, bearing some catastrophic injury or just Brock Purdy level game. Because, Brock Purdy all year.
7 touchdowns.
He was the favorite for like half the season as the MVP. One bad game, and I don't even know if he's still in the top 5.
After a 4 interception game, it's hard to beat.
So it's quarterback. It's a quarterback award. We all know if Lamar stays healthy and keeps producing, it's going to be Lamar. But CMC should be the MVP of the NFL.
I agree. It definitely should be CMC. He's had over 2,000.
He's about to break 2,000 all-purpose. And he's got 20 touchdowns as of right now with 2 games left in the season.
That is by far more impressive than what Lamar has done, in my opinion.
Easy now.
Lamar's passing yards is 3,000?
Also 700 rushing.
Okay.
And also 11 fumbles, but
no. Lamar don't fumble.
Yeah.
But my thing is, CMC is the 49ers offense. Yeah. Debo and Ayuk have played great.
And Kittle.
But without Kittle's been shaky this year. He'll have one game with 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, and then another game with you didn't even know he played.
Well, with Christian McCaffrey, it's
every consistent game. He's had 80-plus yards about every game, and he's scored a touchdown in every game he's been in.
He has been on the tear ever since he got traded from.
For the Ravens,
no injuries.
You're a Ravens fan. You got to be real. That defense has gotten Lamar in some great
bailed him out.
Great predicaments. He did prove in the 49ers game that he could drive at 97 yards. Give him props. But CMC is the offense. He's the most valuable player to that 49ers, even with their stacked defense, because Bosa has been more quiet than we've seen in recent years. Fred Warner has been more quiet than we've seen in recent years. Their defense ain't been as strong. Now, against Baltimore, 4 turnovers, your defense can't stop them on their side of the 50 every down. But CMC should be MVP. It's going to be Lamar, bearing an injury.
I agree. I think we all pretty much agree on that one.
Yeah.
We'll flip it up into the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Even with the injury, it's Stroud.
Yep.
No one's on his level.
Stroud.
Jameer ain't played enough. They're using
That's
David
the only
Montgomery.
argument, really, that I have is
Jameer. But, Montgomery's been the leading back. They finally started using Jameer Gibbs a little more down the playoff stretch.
Now, Montgomery ain't bad, but Montgomery's getting up there.
Jameer Gibbs, though, you spend a top 15 pick on a running back. The next running back after Bijan, and it's the same thing with Bijan in Atlanta. You're using Algier. You spend a number 8 pick on a running back.
Atlanta's nothing but a joke.
Same thing with Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, the highest drafted tight end in the past ever, maybe. I don't know where Gonzalez went, but I think if you use Gibbs, he's proved he's dynamic. You can throw. He is a CMC type running back. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He makes people miss. He's not going to be a Derrick Henry run you over type of running back like Montgomery is. And I'm pretty sure that's why Dan Campbell uses him so much, because he likes a pound town type of running back.
Do y'all see Arthur Smith getting fired?
I would.
I would too.
If you draft a running back at 8 and the dude's not carrying the ball on just about every play when you have Desmond Ridder at quarterback, you're fired.
That and what they done to Kyle Pitts.
I mean, you draft a tight end that early, and he's a generational talent. I mean, the dude ran a 40 time on par with receivers. He's 6'5".
He's Brock Bowers before Brock Bowers.
Yeah, I mean, better than Brock Bowers. Let's be real. But I mean, I'm still running. Okay.
That's weird.
Okay, yeah.
That's weird.
Thought we string cut out for a second. We've had here. I think
It's vice versa.
if Lamar gets MVP,
It's
give
CMC.
CMC Offensive Player of the Year. If not, flip it around. It goes the other way.
Don't count out Tyreek yet, though. Tyreek, I mean, I know he's struggled since coming off an injury. Don't count out Tyreek because there's still 2 games left.
Yeah.
And they're playing Baltimore. That's where you could lose the MVP if you're Lamar.
We also left out the Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think
Jalen Carter's about
he's
wrapped up at
good
this
that shit
point. I
back.
think he's going to get it over Will Anderson.
if Christian Gonzalez could have played all year, he'd been my number 1.
He was a favorite early in the season,
He's
but
not.
I think at this point, it's kind of an unfair predicament because when you got Will Anderson, how many players on that Houston defense can you really name? But when you think about Philadelphia, you don't have the linemen to double team a Jalen Carter when you have so many other options defensively for Philadelphia.
Dylan said MVP is a quarterback award. Unfortunately, I agree 100%, man.
It is an MVP award.
No
Did y'all
matter
say
quarterback.
Derrick Henry got screwed out of it. Derrick Henry deserved it over Aaron Rodgers. I know you're a big Aaron Rodgers fan.
I mean,
Derrick Henry
the
deserved it.
problem is, though, when you think Baltimore game and you look at Purdy, who was the MVP frontrunner, when he played terrible, McCaffrey still had points putting on that board. He was carrying them down the field. Don't know why they kept throwing the ball. McCaffrey, about every time he touched it, at one point was averaging 8 yards per carry.
Did y'all say Defensive Player of the Year or Defensive Rookie Player of the
Defensive
Year?
rookie.
Defensive rookie.
We're going to the defensive player next. Defensive Player of the Year.
Who you got for defensive rookie of the year?
Myles Garrett.
Defensive rookie.
Oh,
Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the
that's Jalen Carter.
Yes,
It is.
100% Jalen Carter.
Myles Garrett, yes.
I have to agree.
I think it's going to go to my boy Kyle Hamilton, man.
Kyle Hamilton is not good.
He is the number 1 rated safety right now in the National Football League.
Let's be
Coming
real,
from
though.
being dog shit last year to this year,
Sacks,
give me Kyle.
Sacks are so much more important.
TJ is leading the league in sacks. TJ is a great player, but
I think TJ's just got a lot of help when it comes to that defense. It's another Nick Bosa situation. You can't really double team someone when you got Cameron Hayward on the other side.
I don't know where the player come out of left field with Kyle Hamilton, but
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton.
dude, give me Kyle. I know he ain't
I
going to
don't
win it.
endorse this.
I know it's going to be TJ Watt, but give me Kyle
I'm
Hamilton.
thinking Myles Garrett.
Myles
pulls it
Garrett.
out.
Or give me Roquan too,
I mean, when you really think about it, also, you got to include a team's record. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to have a better record than Cleveland. And I think Myles Garrett can slip right under him and steal it.
Give me Comeback Player of the Year.
Joe Flacco, baby.
What's
It's
up,
Joe
Eric?
Flacco. Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco, 35, whatever he is now. Cleveland, I think, has a serious chance to go deep in the playoffs. It's Joe Flacco. It's not DeMar Hamlin.
It's not DeMar Hamlin.
It's Joe Flacco.
I hate what happened to the guy, but I'm so tired of hearing his name. Joe Flacco's Comeback Player of the Year. If not Joe Flacco, one come out of left field on defense. Give me Jadeveon Clowney.
Clowney could. I mean,
He's 1 sack away from his first ever 10-sack season in the NFL.
But is it really a comeback for a Clowney? He's been there the whole time.
But damn, he's not done shit the whole time.
But
He's
you
been-
got to think, when you
balling
think
with
Joe Flacco, the dude was retired before the season.
he signed on to the practice squad. Then he got lifted up to the team, and
And when all odds fail, you lost to Sean.
I think Flacco gets it. Dylan,
I would say
Eric,
if
give
it's
us
not
your idea and come back on the chat.
if it's not Flacco, it's definitely Baker.
Baker has a good shot.
Yeah, Baker.
Coming off of a season where he didn't do anything.
But at the end of the day, it really don't matter what these two have done because it's going to go to DeMar Hamlin.
It's probably going to go to
Yeah,
DeMar.
I don't like that whole DeMar Hamlin thing, but I won't speak on it because, the man did die on the field.
Aaron Rodgers came back to be Aaron Rodgers.
Ow. Moving on, has CMC proven that in the last 10 years, he's pretty much the best running back we have seen?
In our lifetime?
I'm not saying in our lifetime. I'm saying in the last 10 years. So from 2013 to 2023.
Consistently, yes. Because we've seen some running backs like Todd Gurley. When he was on, Todd Gurley was on.
Back when Derrick Henry was King Henry.
Derrick Henry, 2,000-yard season. But to be fair, he got a hell of a lot more carries than the CMC does.
Yes.
Also, how many options were there with Derrick Henry compared to you got Debo, you got IU, and
Yep. So, there we go.
What the fuck?
I don't know, dude. We have so many technical issues now. We've got to get worked up. We'll get it all figured out tomorrow. I should have already had it done, but I had to work today. But yeah, I think CMC is. You don't get a running back that can catch as good as him.
many chances.
That's truly once in a lifetime. Let's see, we've already did our ad break. We'll flip back into college football. Deion Sanders in Colorado. We know Colorado's joining the Big 12 next year. Can Deion truly turn Colorado around? Is he a flunk?
Based on what it's looking with how many 5-stars they've lost so far out of the transfer portal and out of just freshmen, I don't think he's got the star power to keep it going. Because, I mean, realistically, it almost looks like he don't really care much about anyone but his kids. And I'm not saying and Travis Hunter. I'm not saying Sanders is a bad quarterback, but there's better options out there than Sanders. So I think really it's one of those things, kind of like a Russell Wilson. Like everyone started hating the guy around the time he got so popular on social media, and Deion's kind of the same way. He started wearing the goofy cowboy hat, getting chains and sunglasses, and you're not winning games. Everybody thought because they beat the brakes off TCU, who already had been embarrassed last year, and they lost their starting quarterback, and they lost their best receiver, and Quentin Johnston and Max Duggan.
Quentin Johnston, what a bust.
Yeah, he's a bust. But I don't see him. I honestly don't see him making it 2 or 3 more years in Colorado.
I think if he does, it's 6 and 6 seasons at best.
At best. I mean, Colorado has a history of being terrible. And Deion Sanders is a star-powered name. It's exciting when you think about it. But after the season we've watched and all the 5-stars bailing, I don't think he's going to get Colorado turned around.
What do you think on it?
It's Deion. I can see it happening. I mean, considering what they were last year, I know they're only 4-8, but it's still a big improvement than what they was last year. Only winning 1 game. I think he's only got like 4 or 5 kids from high school that's committed to Colorado, because he's more worried about the transfer portal, who's already been in college football. They don't want to go. He doesn't want to go through all that shit with high school kids coming in, and you don't know what their personalities are. And but I could definitely see Deion keep on climbing.
I can see it.
You think he goes to a better team than Colorado?
I don't.
No.
If you're a school that, I don't know, maybe like, I don't think West Virginia will get rid of Neil Brown, but a West Virginia who's kind of declined. We used to be like national championship contenders when you had Geno. We beat the piss out of Clemson in the Orange Bowl. Broke records, by the way. But do you see him going to a team that kind of don't get as much recognition anymore?
Virginia Tech.
Maybe like a Virginia Tech. I mean,
Virginia.
Or does moving to the Big 12 keep him around? Because obviously there's not as much contenders in the Big 12 as there is the SEC. You don't get the piss beat out of you every week.
No. Move on into, is Alvin Kamara, however this how he says his last name, is he still an elite running back?
Elite? No. Game changer? Maybe. He does change some games, but as of elite, no. He's no longer an elite running back.
He's like a Christian McCaffrey, but like 2 stars lower.
I honestly would put Jahmyr Gibbs above him.
Sheesh.
I would put Bijan over him.
Damn.
I mean, that Saints team is just gross.
The Pat White era, Collier.
Hey, man. We had a chance. Fuck Pitt. Eat shit, Pitt. Suck my balls.
Oh boy.
But anyway, what were we talking about?
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, he's getting older. He's getting up there in age. He's had a lot of problems off the field. So
he absolutely was unreal at Tennessee, man. I loved Alvin Kamara at Tennessee. I love Jalen Hurd at Tennessee. Hurd leaves, goes to Baylor. I get why he done it. I get why everybody left when Pruitt came in. You know, Pruitt truly fucked our program. We can only recruit 20 people, and that's it. You know, everybody else, you know, they're 25, 30.
With Pruitt, though? I think Butch Jones really started John.
Butch Jones had a couple good years. You know, I'm not totally hating on Butch. I'm not a big Butch fan. But Pruitt truly broke one off in us. Like, I mean.
I'm telling you right now, though, Nico, he's going to have y'all back in contention.
Yeah, I'm excited for Nico.
Think y'all be contenders again?
I'm excited.
I hope we meet in a bowl game so we can beat the piss out of you. But
shit. Okay. Easy now. Pretty much covered all of the subjects that we had. Is there anything else that y'all want to talk about?
What's going on right now?
I don't know. Is there anything that we've missed that y'all are watching? Notice that we've missed that we need to cover. You know, we've covered a lot today. I'm trying to think if there's any situation that we need to cover.
The game's on Sunday. We'll have more to talk about.
Yeah. We'll
Once
have more,
again, game show
We're going
tomorrow.
to watch all of our college football games tomorrow night or tomorrow day. You know, we've already established we really don't have nothing going on tomorrow. I'm off until Tuesday. Case and Colleague are both off probably till about the same time. So we're going to kind of sit down and watch some games. Keep up with some teams we normally don't keep up with. Yeah. So but we'll see what we can do. Take a poll on how likely my bet is. Yeah, so Carly, Jordan's fiance here, wife now, put in a massive $2 bet to like
$200,000.
The bet truly ain't the worst I've ever seen. Can you pull it up right quick and we go over, you know, what we think about it? I mean, it's not the worst.
It's the worst.
It's not the worst. $2.
She put Patriots over Bills.
Yeah, she put the Patriots.
What you want to believe about the Cardinals over the fucking Eagles?
The Cardinals over the Eagles.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen worse.
She took the non-favorites in about every game on Sunday.
She took all the sleepers, man. You never know. I mean, look at the guy who last weekend bet $5 won like $700K. Shit happens at a while. Yeah, I mean.
Took Miami over Baltimore. That one's.
I can see that. I can see it.
I can't. She took the Commanders over the Niners.
Sheesh. All right.
Or no. She took Detroit over. She took the Niners over the Commanders.
Okay.
She took Detroit over Dallas, which I'm wholeheartedly behind.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm wholeheartedly behind that. Shout out to my boy James.
Honestly. Well, she took the Texans over the Titans, which could go either way.
I don't see the Falcons beating the Bears, though.
But she took the Cardinals over the Eagles.
You don't see it?
No. It's one of those things, man. I think Justin Fields he's going to replace Justin Fields. You need to be fucking fired.
I think the whole
Fields
organization.
I know we covered this last episode, but Fields is not the fucking problem in Chicago. You have no offensive line. Your running backs, I mean, you got fucking Roshan Johnson starting. Cole Kmet's proven himself. DJ Moore's proven himself. I think Fields, regardless of being hurt, has proven himself. You can't blame the man for getting hurt when he's running for his life back there. I mean, he's got 6 people running him every fucking down because that line, they couldn't block us 3 if we went out there today.
How many quarterbacks you think go in the first round? Or in the top, we'll say 10.
I'm going to say Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb go top 10. I think Penix falls out of the top 10.
I heard a hot take that Penix will be the first quarterback off the board.
I like Penix.
No shot.
I like Penix a lot, but he's not the first quarterback off.
Heisman's don't equate to first overall picks.
Drake May will be the first off.
I think
Well,
Drake
Jaden
May
Daniels
should
won
be.
Heisman.
Oh, yeah, Jaden Daniels did win the Heisman. Yeah.
And
But I heard Penix going first.
it's one of those things, man. I talked about this yesterday with a couple of guys I worked with. Here's the thing with Jaden Daniels. Here's my thing with Joe Burrow. I'm not taking nothing away from Joe Burrow. I think he was a great college quarterback. But
Was he, though?
think in retrospect, imagine if you had an NFL team with Justin Jefferson on one side and Jamar Chase on the other. That's exactly what fucking Burrow had at LSU. You're talking 2 fucking there and throw 60 touchdown passes with Jamar Chase on one side and Jefferson on the other. Who do you double team with Jefferson and Chase? You can't pick one.
Even going pro, he sticks with one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Burrow, but he had a lot of talent to help him along his way.
Tell more, man.
I agree with that. Like I said earlier, we're going to be doing a sports trivia Jeopardy game tomorrow night. Not sure exactly how we're going to work that one out because one of us has to come up with the questions and the answers, and really that person can't play. So it might be me doing the questions and the answers. Might be a one-on-one with Case and Collier here.
Let's get on Jake over here.
Could get Jake involved. I think Jake works till 8 a.m. He works midnight to 8 a.m. So we could get Jake involved. Any of y'all watching, Dylan, Eric, whoever else is watching us, you know where I live. Show up. Y'all get in the Jeopardy game. I don't give a shit. My door's always unlocked. Anything else that we're missing?
I think we hit it on the head. Just to give away 300 subscribers.
Yeah, we are giving away the jersey, like I said earlier, in case y'all missed it. Once we get 300 subscribers, one random subscriber win a box jersey giveaway, signed jersey. Could be a Hall of Famer, could be a rookie, could be an up-and-comer. I pulled a lot of these boxes because, I've got sports memorabilia about all the way around my room. I've almost got it finished. I've not pulled a trash player yet. I don't think. You pulled Shaq Barrett. You pulled a Hall of Fame back tomorrow night. I'll say, 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish tomorrow night with the Jeopardy game.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Somewhere around that time frame, but we'll be back tomorrow night with the Jeopardy.
Make sure you check out the TikTok.
Yeah, please, if you don't care, follow us on TikTok.
We need to get so many to do
We're trying to get to that 2,500 subscriber mark where we can start doing giveaway on TikTok Live, start, doing jersey breaks, stuff like that. I promise, you have my word now. If we get to the point where we can do jersey break, helmet breaks, we will be the cheapest on TikTok. Guaranteed, we will be the cheapest on TikTok. Because I know how much everybody else is making out of them. I'm not that greedy. I know you're not that greedy, and I know you're not that greedy. We will be the cheapest on TikTok.
And if there's any single MILFs out there, my Instagram is K_Barnett18. Hit me up. Call me. My nickname is Skinny Penis.
All right. On that note, I think we're going to close it out on that note.
See y'all tomorrow.
Case Dennis, definitely a good